What's up, everyone? Back for another beer review, and today is Wednesday, which means it's time for another Western New York Wednesday here on the channel. And the beer I'm going to be reviewing today comes from the 42 North Brewing Company, and they are out of East Aurora, New York. And this is their Pre-Emption IPA. So this is a New England-style IPA. Comes in at 6.7% alcohol by volume and 55 IBUs. And at the time of this review, this beer is approximately 2.5 weeks old, so still quite fresh. Now, you might be familiar with this can or another variant of this can, and that's because about a month ago on another Western New York Wednesday, I reviewed 42 North's Moving to the Country IPA, which was a peach milkshake IPA. Pretty damn good beer. I wanted a bit more peach and maybe cut the sweetness a bit, but it was good for what it was. And I saw that they were going to release this beer a few weeks ago, so I was like, I gotta go and grab it because, full disclosure, I've had this beer before. I actually had the first 2 batches they released earlier this year. So when I saw they were releasing it again, I'm like, I gotta give that a review. So I went and picked up a 4-pack from the brewery itself. The first time I actually went to the brewery. Nice location, had a flight, it was a good time. But yeah, so this beer gets its name Preemption from the Preemption Line, which split apart New York and Massachusetts back in 1786 and kind of shaped the modern day New York State as we know it now. Pretty cool. I like that a lot of their the names of their beers are a reflection of Western New York or the New York State in general. And yeah, they actually list the hops here on the can, which is awesome. Galaxy, Azacca, Denali, and Mosaic. So yeah, I remember this being a really tasty beer the few times I've had it, and hopefully that's the case today because I want to give it a proper review and I want to drink it because I'm thirsty. So let's pour it in to our teku here. And oh, this is not as hazy as I remember it being. Let me give it a little bit of a swirl here. This was, I remember this being way, yeah, no. So, you know, they're calling New England style IPA. Now, look, is it hazy? Sure. Does it look like a lot of these New England style IPAs nowadays? Not really. You know, there is some light coming through this. It has like this almost hazy straw color to it, a little bit of orange in there, about a finger of a bright white creamy looking head. But yeah, doesn't look as hazy as a lot of these New England style IPAs nowadays. Just doesn't. Does it matter? Nah, not really. Let's get a nose on it. Yeah, ooh, that smells really good. Tons of tropical fruit. And I'm picking up on this red berry. Could be the Mosaic, which is known to lend the berry notes. I've mentioned it before, and I'm sure a lot of you guys have gotten like blueberry from Mosaic. I a lot of times get like a nondescript red berry from Mosaic, and that's kind of what I'm getting here. Could be a little bit of Azacca. Denali I'm not really as familiar with. But yeah, some red berry in here. Pineapple. Slight melon, like a honeydew melon, sweeter melon. There is this like underlying... yeah, like resinous pine character, actually, which is not something I typically get in New England-style IPAs. Yeah, red berry, melon, pineapple, maybe a bit of mango, underlying resinous pine character. And even like a sweeter, like bready malt character, like a white bread or white bread crust or something like that. But yeah, it smells pretty good. Now, it doesn't look like a New England-style IPA as much as it should, but it smells like one. Hopefully it tastes like one. So cheers. This is not what I remember this beer being earlier this year. First off, it's still pretty tasty. Don't get me wrong. It's definitely sweeter on the palate. So first thing I noticed is that it doesn't have the body and mouthfeel that it had in previous batches. It's not as, it's like medium body, straight up medium, even maybe lighter side of medium body. The mouthfeel is a little bit more crisp. There's a little bit of spritzy carbonation there. It has a softness to it, but ever so slightly. Yeah, a bit more carbonated, not as soft, not as smooth, not as creamy as last time I had it. But it still works, it works out fine. I mean, you know, 6.7%. IPA, 55 IBUs. The body, I'm not looking to be huge. The mouthfeel doesn't need to be crazy, but still not the same as I remember it. As far as the taste goes, it's close, but not spot on from the batch I had, say, 6 months ago. There's more of this sweeter tropical fruit, like a pineapple, mango, like a fleshy papaya. That red berry carried over a little bit as well. Honeydew melon, more in the nose than in the taste. And it has a decent bitterness here. Now this beer, I remember being a little bit sweeter and not all that bitter. This one has like a moderate bitterness punch on the back end, which I'm actually digging. A little bit of resinous pine, a little bit of like generic nondescript dankness. This is actually probably more balanced than the batches that I had from earlier this year, but I don't know if I like it as much. Yeah, I mean, easy to drink. You guys see me pounding this out quite easily. There's not a whole lot more to say about this one. I don't think I like it as much as the previous batches, which I gave 4.25 out of 5 ratings to. So the rating for this batch of Preemption IPA from 42 North Brewing Company, they are out of East Aurora, New York. I'm going to give this, I'll give it a solid 4 out of 5. It's a very well-balanced IPA. Based on what I'm tasting, I can't really say it's New England-style IPA. It's a bit more bitter than your typical New England-style IPA. It doesn't have the juiciness like the pure on juice that one has. Obviously, it doesn't have the look or, you know, the body or the mouthfeel. So I'd say this drink's more like just an American IPA that has some nice juicy and fruity components to it, but it has enough bitterness to kind of balance it out. So this is like a balanced American IPA, which, guess what, is A-okay by me because whatever. I mean, it doesn't have to be New England style. If it says New England style, you probably want it, but at the end of the day, if what's in my glass is something I'm enjoying, then you get 2 thumbs up for me. So that was Preemption, they call it Preemption, India Pale Ale, but Preemption IPA from 42 North. It gets a 4 out of 5, and yeah, good beer. If you guys are in the area in the next couple weeks, I'd say check around because I know this got distribution. See if you can find it at any of the local bottle shops or at the brewery itself in East Aurora. I'm sure they still have cans left, so yeah, anyway, appreciate you guys stopping by another Western New York Wednesday here on the Beer Patrol. Please like, comment, subscribe, and until the next one, cheers.